Hey guys, Richard from gunsholstersandgear.com here, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about the new Streamlight. It's the TLR-2 G, G standing for green, in this case the green laser. What it is it's a combination light and laser package. It's got your typical LED white light up here. It's very bright, about 200 lumens, and if I remember correctly, about 6,800 candela. Basically what that means is it's going to throw a lot of light, but it's going to be more in a confined area, kind of great for room clearing, but shooting long distances, the candela is not really up there. It's only 6,800, so we're talking about your backyard, fine. Across a long field or something like that, probably not going to be what you're looking for. But what we're talking about is, especially on handguns, we're not talking about those kinds of distances anyway. It also, like I said, it has the green laser. Now, a lot of the lasers in the laser and light combination, generally the laser package is down here on the bottom, and what happens is you've got your light up here, and then you've got your laser emitting down here. Not so on this one. The TLR-2 G, actually, the laser emitting diode is back here behind the reflector that's used for the white light. That means that instead of being down here, all the way down here, we've moved it up here, moving the actual aiming point, the laser, closer to the bore of the firearm. So you're going to have less variation at distances, because what you have is sort of like sighting in a scope. You're going to have a specific distance that you sight that laser in for, where the bullet and the laser both are going to be pinpoint on the same dot. You may set that up at 7 yards, at 15 yards, whatever the case may be, but when you get off of that very specific distance, you're going to have the bullet impacting at a different point, either higher or lower than from where the actual laser beam is. For most part, if we're talking about handgun distances and we're talking you've sighted this in at somewhere between 7 and 15 yards, your variation is not going to be a whole lot, maybe a couple inches maximum. Again, at handgun ranges out to, say, 20-25 yards. Problem with that, of course, is if you're looking for that precision shot, it may not give it to you. If, on the other hand, you're looking for something that's just going to be combat distances, where you're looking to get effective hits on the center mass, probably will work very well for you. The real key with the green lasers, though, is not that it's something neat and different, but rather the green actually appears a lot brighter to the human eye. So for the same actual measured output between a red laser and a green laser, the green actually appears much brighter to the human eye. There's a variety of reasons for that, well beyond the scope of this video, but if you think about some of the bright fiber optic sights, for example, that people mount on their shotguns or on their pistols, a lot of times that green shows up, or it seems brighter than a red fiber optic. Different colors do that. It's just the eye picks up, or the human eye is more sensitive to certain colors, just like different animals are more sensitive to different colors. Certain animals maybe can see a broader spectrum or a more shallow spectrum than humans can. Green is just one of those things that appears much more brighter. So with the green laser, it's going to appear much more brighter, which is great because in daylight conditions, or in conditions other than complete darkness, that green is going to give you an advantage over a red laser. You take a red laser out in daytime, you may not necessarily be able to see that, especially in bright, full sunlight. Green laser, on the other hand, you're going to be able to see that. You'll be able to pick that up. At nighttime, it's even brighter. At nighttime, that green laser, it jumps out at you. It's very impressive. What this has is, if you're familiar with the TLR series of weapon lights that Streamlight's come out with in the past, it's very similar. You've got kind of a switch down here on the bottom. I don't know if we can see that or not, but there's a switch down here on the bottom that toggles back and forth, left, center, and right. And what that does is that sets that up so this other activation switch here, that's actually going to give you a choice. The bottom one's going to give you the choice between the light, the laser, or both light and laser at the same time. This other switch up here that toggles back and up and down, depending on which side of the pistol you're shooting on, it's ambidextrous, is either going to give you momentary or a constant on situation. If you double tap the momentary, it's going to give you a strobing effect, and you can leave if you double tap it and then click the constant on, it's going to leave a constant on strobing effect. And the strobe effect works both for the light and the laser. So if you've got both on or you've got just one on, you can hit that strobe effect and it's going to give it to you. Now we're outside here. I apologize if we're getting some car noises and whatnot. Just in the process of moving both my house and my office, and as it turns out, my mics have disappeared. They're in one of the boxes somewhere. But until I get those mics located again, may have to put up with a little bit of noise out here. But what I wanted to show you real quick, hopefully this is going to show up well, is show you how bright the light is, and then also show you a little bit on the laser. So we're out here on my back patio. I'm going to turn around. Now I've got this set up here. You see just the green laser. Hopefully you're able to see that. It's fairly bright. We're right here at a distance of, I call it maybe about 15 yards or so. It's exceptionally bright. Turn that off. I'm going to click over just the white light, and you can see we get quite a bit of white light here. Again, I don't know how much of this the camera is going to be able to pick up for you to give you a good idea, but certainly this is going to be plenty if you're doing any type of room searching or anything like that. Backyard is going to be perfectly fine. Kick it over. Now we've got the light and the laser combination. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. The green light in there is completely visible in the middle of the white light. It's very bright. We're in kind of dusk conditions here. Works even in daylight as well. And again, if you come over here, you can double tap and get the strobe. You get the constant on, get the momentary on. And if you double tap the strobe, then you can click it constant on and you'll have the constant strobing effect. So that's the TLR-2 G. Again, the G standing for green. It's a lot like the other TLR models. 200 lumen white light, green laser, all shooting out of basically the same bezel up here. It's a fantastic unit. There are a couple of issues related to temperature. Green lasers are more finicky when it comes to temperatures. If you get below, for this particular model, if you get below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, in other words, the freezing point of water, if you get below that for an extended period of time, it's going to start degrading the effectiveness of the laser. It becomes less bright. I tested that. I threw it in the deep freezer here at the house, kept it at 0 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes, pulled it out, and it was a lot dimmer. It was noticeably dimmer. Still worked, but a lot dimmer. I don't think it would be real good for using in daylight conditions at that particular dimness. However, even when the unit was still ice cold to the touch, I left in a room temperature about 78 degrees for 5 minutes, and it looked like all of the brightness had come back on that green laser. So it comes back really quickly. But it is something to keep in mind. If you're a state trooper working in Alaska at wintertime, may not be the best for you, especially if you're on a snowmobile, you're out doing search and rescue, something like that, you're hunting for a fugitive that may be out in the woods. It's something that green laser may not work for you. Red lasers are not quite as sensitive to that. Now this particular unit also is sensitive to high temperatures, but the high temperatures I believe are above about 117 degrees. Even here in Florida we don't have those kinds of temperatures. There are certain areas of the world that may come into effect, but it's not going to be very many areas. My only concern is going to be the low temperature aspect on this, and even if you are a police officer working somewhere in a northern climate in winter, I'm suspecting that most of the time you're in and out of the car, it probably isn't going to affect it that much, but it is something to be aware of. If you're working in those conditions, a red laser may be a better choice for you. For most everybody else, that green laser is working great. The only other drawback to this is it is a little more expensive than your red laser units. Green laser, this is MSRPing for $550. It's quite a chunk of change, I understand, but you are getting an excellent weapon light, plus the green laser, daytime and nighttime visible. The good news is the actual street prices for these units are going to be lower than $550. Based on my experience, Streamlight kind of puts high MSRPs on them, but then when they actually get to the retailers are selling them for quite a bit less. Looking online, I think LA Police Gear, excuse me, I think LA Police Gear maybe had this for about $340. I think I saw it for about $350 on Amazon. So figure less than $400 for this unit. If green laser is something that you're interested in, definitely it's worth checking out. It's a fantastic unit. Had it out to the range, shot it quite a bit. It's a durable unit. I like it a lot. with the exception of the price, with the exception of the cold weather problems. It's darn near perfect as far as I'm concerned. If you're in the market, definitely check it out. Again, this is Richard with gunsholstersandgear.com.